I see a bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way.
Hi, Moonday.
Hello.
What's up?
Welcome back. You get to say welcome back.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We are outside this time. We are under a lovely tree. We set up a little bit of ambiance over here, and it's just like the cutest, best little environment to film. So we're happy to be outside and that the weather's cooperating this time. Our wine today is Cote de Roses. That's that. I know that's
so
not how
technical.
you say it.
Cody de Roses.
Cote de Rosé.
Open that.
Cote de Rosé by Gerard Bertrand. It looks fancy.
It's
Look at this
gorgeous.
bottle. It's so
So
freaking pretty. I can't. But you get it at Target. Okay, I'm gonna be real straight. So we're gonna try this. I've been really super into rosé lately, and that sounds like, oh yes, way rosé. Doesn't everybody rosé? Actually, I don't. I normally only drink red wine. But it's been so hot lately in Texas, and it just sounds really refreshing. So we're gonna open it. The cork. Look at the cork. Stop! It's like a nipple. Oh my gosh. So cheers to our second video.
And take a little break and pour yourself a glass
Wine.
so you
It's
can
late,
relax
get
with us.
wine. If it's early, get juice and pretend it's wine. Okay.
Cheers.
Yes.
And we'll take a sip.
Here's the title of the video.
Oh,
Because, you know, I know we're anxious to get to the wine.
It's good.
But, the title of this video is going to be Winds of Change. Thank you, Jackie, for coming up with the name. But it is so true, and we had a different subject in mind for this video, and then something crazy happened to me the other day at work, and it's just very fitting, and then we planned on filming today, and we got out here, and it's windy as so we're just gonna have to go with winds of change. They're blowing me some way. I'm sure they're blowing a lot of people a lot of ways right now.
And actually, we've had two other conversations with like some big news, like just some big event conversations, and it's always been either storming. It's not storming today, thank goodness, but I feel like the wind is just speaking.
Yes, like
Yeah.
guiding us to a certain way. So but it's just providing a little much needed like cool down. So cheers to winds of change.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yes. Yes, it's good.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh my gosh, you could just drink out of that like
Yeah, you gotta be real careful. So I'm gonna start by explaining what happened to me the other day. It could be a really long story, but I'm just gonna keep it for the purposes of the video pretty short, and then we can kind of go into what we think it means. And we have already gone into what we think it means. I couldn't help it. I had like a total breakdown at work, and I went into it with Jackie. I went into it with my friend Christy, and just my brother, like just talking about everything. But we obviously, you know, the whole point of this is, you know, our last video was how do you stay sane in these trying times, and how do you find peace, because things are so insane right now, and everyone's life is just up in the air, and everything is all over the place. You know, it's like if you have a job, I don't know, the country's starting to shut down again.
right.
And I have been trying to purchase a house. I've never bought a home before, and I've been planning it. I've been thinking about it for 2 years.
It's been a long process.
A long process. And I finally, about 6 months ago, right before the whole COVID thing happened, saw a home that I fell completely in love with, and there's not an option. Like, this is the one.
No.
It only took a second, and I knew that's where I was supposed to be.
There's nothing else like it.
Yes, it's seriously, like, so amazing.
It's magical.
But I was having a moment the other day, taking a partial pay cut, and, you know, if you're like, do I have a job? In a couple months, I don't know if I will have a job, and
So many uncertainties. There's nothing you can just put money on and rely on.
Exactly. Exactly. So I had all these, you know, plans, and I was saving every dime that I had to try to buy this house, and I was so determined. And like she was saying, it's been a very long process for them as well because they had a lot of stuff they had to fix and they put it on the market before it was ready and yada yada. But the timing was working out, and I'm like, yeah, 6 months later, great. I still have a lease in my apartment. But the other day, I've been so committed, like without a doubt. Like this is what I want. This is where I'm gonna live for the next 30 years.
Along.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the other day, I woke up and just in a panic. I don't know what I was dreaming about. I don't know. I do have anxiety, but it's, I might get a panic attack once or twice a year. It's pretty rare, and it was usually something extreme that triggers it. And I just woke up in a state of panic, and it was a really bad morning, and all I could think about was
such a bad feeling.
Yes, like feeling of doom, or feeling like I'm making a bad decision, and I'm very in tune with stuff like that. And I was just so freaked out. And I got to work, and I was on the verge of tears in the back of the parking lot, and I'm trying to pull myself together. And I was texting my friend Christy, and I was like, hey, what if I'm just meant to save, all this money if I lose my job, and I should, instead of spending my savings on a payment for a house, maybe I should just rely on my savings, right, to get me through and not commit to this huge financial burden. And I just was having a breakdown, and for the first time questioning everything. And it was really upsetting. So I pulled myself together, right, because I can't go to work. I walked.
You can, but like maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if in my
maybe
position
don't do that.
I'll go to work crying. But I pull myself together and I wipe the tears away. I start walking to the back of the parking lot, and I see a bunch of trash over on the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I'm in a bad mood, so I'm like, oh, I don't want to pick up trash today. But then I'm like, no, I want to make sure it looks nice, right? I'm a manager, so I gotta make sure it looks nice. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get it, and I turn and I look, and it is a tarot card. A mother, I cannot even believe it. A tarot card was sitting right there by my car.
And it drew you over.
And it called me. Okay. I sound like a psycho. I walked in, and the poor people that were there in the morning, like the poor people who work for me, had to hear, like, me crying on the verge of tears, shaking this card at them. They're probably like, what have we done? We didn't pick up all the trash last night. And I'm still blah, 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 making no sense whatsoever.
So should we still go set this stuff up? Or...
I'm like losing my mind, stumbling over myself, like speaking to the heavens, right, about this tarot card. And it was just right there, and it was face up. It is the Four of Cups, and you can kind of see what it looks like there. It's just 4 goblets, and although I've like kind of dabbled in tarot, I've had a few tarot card readings before. I didn't know in detail what the 4 cups represented, but I knew I was being
this was
to.
something.
This is something. For this to appear to me, I think a lot of people would have just looked over something like this, and I think it's like it was meant for me. This is what speaks to me, and it's like the universe knew that.
It was a sign.
Yes, and I was sitting there asking for a sign.
Well, and you had been texting even that morning, like, I don't know if this is the right thing. I'm having to do this big thing and this big thing, and like whereas you felt so confident before, it really was just like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. So
and here this guy.
Yeah, and here this guy is, and I don't get a bad feeling from it at all. So I stumble across this 4 of Cups, and of course I have to go get ready for work, and I called Jackie, and she's had a lot that's happened that morning too. We're both just on the verge of like, I don't know, this like spiritual breakthrough.
Whoa. It was like an energy tornado that just.
Yes, and it's like, what is happening?
Your hair is all just like.
Yes. Oh, I was so mean. You could have taken any look on my face and made me a viral meme that morning. It was just crazy. So I looked into this when I had time, and the first page that I clicked on, I felt like it was telling me very specifically not to get the house. This was not, what's the word, like coincidental, where if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it. Like if you're looking for something, then you believe it. So a lot of people think that with like tarot or with astrology, and it's where you can connect anything to your life, so it automatically makes sense to you. But this was not that. This was every single word. It went paragraph by paragraph by paragraph that was saying, hey, there's all these big decisions in front of you, and they look like they're going to be great. Now is not the time to take them. I mean, it just was very, very black and white. So much so that I showed it to Chrissy, and she just looked at it, and she was like, because she knows how badly I want this house, and she wants me to stay here. And she knows that I've been saying if I don't get this house, I will take it as a sign that I'm meant to move. Because that's always also kind of been an option. So I think she was really upset that, hey, I'm ready to move. Like, this could change everything.
Right. The house is what is keeping you here for basically everybody.
Yeah, it is big time motivation, for sure, to stay in Texas. And if for some reason, you know, my job doesn't work out, which is quite possible with everything that's going on, and then also the house doesn't work out, I will take that as a good sign, right? So I was upset. She was upset. Everybody's really upset. But the more that we researched it, and the rest of the pages spoke kind of a different story, and I feel like I was being a little bit hasty in how I analyzed it. And a lot of what it was saying was it was a Four of Cups. It's saying you have all these really great things that you should be grateful for. And this card in particular, no, but I guess in a lot of tarot decks, it's a guy that has 3 cups, and he's reaching for the 4th cup. And it's like always wanting more when you're not realizing how to be happy with what you have. So I started taking that to heart, and I'm like, dude, I'm pissed off about this house, and there are people out there who still don't have jobs. And there are people out there who haven't been working since March, end of March, beginning of April, whenever all this stuff shut down. And I don't know, it was just a very grounding moment when I started looking at everything. You know, I was all the way up here, like, freaking out about, like, what does it mean, what does it mean? And the card said no. I know, so I'm about to make a huge financial decision based on a card. But the more I looked into it, the more it just kind of, like, brought me back down to reality and brought me back down to earth. And, I don't know. I think I'm still, especially with the news I got today, I think I'm still trying to figure out which way it's going to take me. But I don't know. I think I'm trying to say things change. Things change, and it's not something that you should be scared of, because at the end of the day, you can't control that things change, and change is for the better, right? Like, everybody is so scared of change all the time, because it puts you out of your comfort zone. It makes you question everything. It makes you have to grow.
No, that's true. I mean, change is inevitable. It's inevitable. The only thing is whatever the song is. Sorry, I don't know like every old song, but the only thing that stays the same is that everything changes.
Oh, no, pain.
But change is painful. Because change is really painful. It's even good things, I feel like, involving change can be painful, because we like to be comfortable. We like to know what to expect. And unfortunately right now, nobody really knows what to expect. But I think the way that I like to see it is that even the bad parts of whatever things are changing is, I really believe that the universe is, it's either something to help you grow or something you need later. So you might not see that full picture until whenever. Hopefully sooner rather than later in the case of this house.
No kidding.
But
it's been 6 months.
It is painful. Nobody, I mean, even if you were moving from a job that you didn't really like into, let's say, a higher paying job that was something you like to do more, if you've been at this other job for a long time, you'd still be scared.
Yes, you would.
Like, it's
Absolutely.
It's scary, and that's even something you're in control of. And, you know, with the house, and not just like, I mean, everything is going on, but that, if we're, you know, kind of applying it to that, my house, there's a lot you're not in control of.
Yes, you're right. You're right. And I do like to feel in control. There's a lot of times I like to be really spontaneous and like lose control, but I like having a like stability, obviously, right? Like I like to know that I have a solid job, and that has gone away.
Oh yeah, like
You know,
those
so
are the big
it's
ones.
like
yeah.
just feeling like I'm not safe, maybe as a whole. Because if I don't have income, obviously I don't feel safe, and maybe I was just in a
Yeah.
house looking for something to supplement that. I also think that I'm a huge traveler, big time traveler. And the way that I get through the tougher parts of the year is by planning these big extravagant trips where I usually leave for like 3 or 4 weeks at a time. And I go, explore the world, and that's what's stimulating, and that drives me, and that encourages me to work hard so I can pay for these
Push
trips,
through.
right?
You
Yeah,
get to
and
push
it's
through
just,
it, yeah.
I don't have that anymore, so I don't know, this house just meant like so much, and for it to just, I don't know, to feel like all of a sudden I shouldn't be pushed that way, and that I should look into other things. I don't know, it kind of rocks my world a little bit.
I think it was right, like a replacement as a new adventure, because it really it is just an amazing house. It really is.
I'm still hoping. We'll see.
I think so. You take a nap.
Oh, tell me. No, Jackie.
Okay, so sometimes, like traveling and having okay. Start over. So
No, tell me what
even
you're
if you're
don't
thinking of
back
somebody
out now.
who, if you're
I
thinking
won't
of
hate
somebody,
you, the camera's rolling.
That's for the after show. Even somebody who like thrives on, let's say, rearranging the rooms in their house often because it feels fresh.
Yeah.
So you get to go out and travel and have these new perspectives, these new adventures, and new experiences. And so, okay, great, like I can't do that. The house was kind of that, and it still could happen, It's not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But if it were not, I like to think in times where things that I want are not given to me, or they don't work out the way that I want them to, that possibly it's like a redirect to say, well, what is it that you're getting from these other things? And maybe that even plays into fourth cup, is being grateful for something that you have here.
Yes, I
Is
know.
Maybe that's a,
Don't move, be grateful for Texas.
or be grateful for, I mean, I say that.
Take that out. All the Texas people will get mad at me. Sorry.
Yeehaw, we're from Texas. We can say, well, I am. No, I'm not. Actually,
but
neither of us
that's
are. No, we've been here a really long time, so it's basically the same thing.
Take out the yeehaw. Oh my God, take out the whole thing. Just start over. It plays into the Four of Cups. Like, be grateful for what you have here.
Right.
Because I do have a lot, and that's what I'm saying. I understand. There are people who are in a really rough situation right now, and we are honestly more blessed than a lot. So I get it, for sure. I feel like I'm always striving for more, like more. And not just like for me, but just in life as a whole. Like I need stimulation, I need new experiences, I need this. Like it's hard for me to just sit and appreciate where I'm at.
In the present.
Yeah.
In the present moment.
Yeah.
Okay, what if? Okay, if you were to look back on places, things, events, people that you thought would be around forever, places you thought you would be forever, and there was something about it, and especially, I guess when I'm really thinking, I'm thinking of people. People that you think are in your life forever. And even if those are toxic people, how you just cannot let go. The universe is over here like,
what are you trying to say?
this isn't good for you. Like, this isn't good for you.
She's
So
criticizing my last relationship.
But sometimes it takes a big push because we are too afraid, or we become, there's just something about this situation or this person that you can't let go of until you are shoved off of it.
Like it's
Oh, yeah.
We're really in the
You're
weeds
in the
on
weeds
this
over
one.
there. In the weeds. But it's ultimately
Better for
because
you
there's
in the
something
end.
else that you need to be pushed toward.
Yeah.
And I say that, like, this isn't even going to be my house, but, like,
Maybe
I've
there's
really been
maybe
looking
there's
forward to it.
I know, okay. Can I say about it? It's fine, right?
Yeah.
It's a dome. It's a dome home.
It's like a beehive.
Where the hell do you find a dome home? Like,
It's
It-
beautiful.
it is so amazing. It is the most perfect.
Yes.
It has a lot of land. It's just fantastic.
It's
I-
amazing.
It's full of excellent energy. Like, just such good energy. I'm still holding out hope. I have not given up on this one just yet. Although my realtor's like sick of me by now. He's like, please let me find you a house that is just easier to deal with. I'm like, nope, this is the one. I'm so sorry about the baby.
I was gonna say yes.
Okay, so it's kind of in the country, and the neighbor raises chickens, turkeys, and peacocks. We were just touring the house, and I heard a peacock in the background, and I was like, what? And the look on the realtor's face, he's this really buttoned up guy, you know, super, super professional, and he just gives me this look, and I was like, no, I love it. It reminds me of Hawaii, right?
He's over here like, oh
Yeah, no, it reminds me of Hawaii, and they're like, yeah, the neighbor raises them, and he's got these prized peacocks or whatever, and he, you know, sells chickens or sells eggs or whatever. We tour the property, and we leave, and we're walking out, and we're along the fence, and he's trying to talk to me, and I'm not even kidding. A turkey, I didn't know turkeys could leave the ground, first of all. Like, I didn't know this was possible. He's trying to talk to me, and a turkey jumps up on the fence, and he looks at it, and it looks at him, and it just goes, like right at him as he's trying to talk. And of course I'm cracking up, and he just is like, that's interesting. He was like, please, there are other properties, and I'm like, nope, this is it. Like, this is the one, dude.
Like, it sealed the deal for you, and he's
Oh,
like, this is
instantly.
never gonna work.
Instantly. He's just like, oh god, I've got a kook.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Aw.
But he's a good guy, so we're still holding out hope. I didn't mean for this to just be a talk about the house, but
No,
yeah, I don't
it's-
know.
But it does tie into change. I mean, truly, I feel like that's something that it does make you stop and really be grateful for certain things. Because do you ever live in those moments where sometimes you're living it, and in that moment you already miss it because you know you can't experience it for the first time again. You know what I mean?
So nostalgic in a sad way.
But like,
I don't know.
but if you view things, if you view change as being important and beautiful, then you can say like, this moment is really great, and you know it might not stick around forever, but like I got to experience it.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
At least, I mean, you can try. Why does the moment feel? Do you know what I'm talking about? The bittersweet, where you just
bittersweet.
you're so
is a
filled
good
up
word.
with everything, and like you feel like it's never gonna be just this thing again.
It's like it's so good that you're sad because you know it won't be good like that again. Like that same exact feeling
Yeah.
won't happen again.
But aren't those just?
Aww.
I
wonder-
love those.
I don't know. You know how I keep joking about what if I am meant to just up and move? Like take my savings and just go move? And there's a part of me that's like, I don't know. Like, if I settle down, will I be giving up that part of me? Like, maybe I should stay in an apartment for a while so I can continue my traveling, so I can continue my exploring, like, because that does mean so much to me. I don't know.
But would you then given such a strong urge to find a house if that were the case? And who's to say you can't have both? Maybe this road is taking you somewhere where you can have
Because
both.
I already have 3 cups and I'm not supposed to be reaching for the 4th.
What if somebody hands you the fourth?
And
You're
it's
like,
full
oh,
of good
the
Cote
universe
Rosé
hands
wine.
it. It just comes in, and they're like, oh,
Oh, well, I'll take it at that
here you
point.
go. Here you go, sweetheart.
I'll take that 4th cup. But, yeah, I don't know. Change is just, I think change is one of those things you just have to accept. Like, people will be like, oh, I'm fear of change. Like, oh, no, I don't like change. And it's just like, you can't live that way because you can't avoid it, right? So it's,
And it creates-
everyone's so scared of it, but if we just embrace it,
Well, the resistance to anything is what causes suffering. So if you accept the fact that things are going to change and try to change your perspective with anything, like even if it's like a breakup, like a really awful breakup, or you lose a family member, if you're trying, like, if the resistance to feeling that pain creates all of that suffering, So I think resisting change, if you just like get in that river and you say like,
Take me where I'm supposed
me.
to go.
Yeah.
Take me where I'm supposed to go. I like that. But
I'm saying that like I don't
I
like
know,
make
it's
myself suffer
so
for no
hard.
good reason.
It's so hard. Like, I don't know, do you guys have situations where you were really resistant to change and then you looked up, you know, a year later or 2 years later and you were like, wow, I was pushed to this and thank God I was?
Like right on the other side, you're like, wow, I never would have imagined.
I feel like toxic relationships are a really good example. Like a really good example where you're so blinded
You
when
can't
you're in it that
imagine.
you just can't see like reason.
Right.
And then when you actually get out of there, it's like, oh, if there was somebody way better, or oh, I was, you know, meant to do this, this, and this, or
Very relevant.
Yeah.
I actually think we should do a separate video. I feel like on
toxic
relationships. And that's not
let
just
me
with
tell
a partner.
you, we can talk on a
She crossed her
relationship.
legs and said we can talk. But
can
even
talk about
family,
that.
not just like a partner,
family
family
friends,
members, friends. Oh God,
friends is a big one.
Yeah. I feel like that's a great. I think we'll do that on another video because man, that's a deep well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's important though because, and I think we both can speak to it just because we've experienced it.
Yes, and I think it's important to realize what toxicity actually looks like, because I think it's easy to fall into it's just like a relationship, to fall into where you're blinded and you think things are good, and then you realize looking in on it that things were not great, right? And that it was harming you, or at the very least, not growing you. But yeah, we can get into that later. But yeah, I don't know. You guys let us know if you guys have had similar situations like this, and you know, embrace once of change. It's gonna be okay. I think we're all being pushed in a certain direction, and like Jackie said, you either go with the flow or you're gonna end up, you know, sitting around and causing yourself pain. So I think we're all just floating down this river. We're all just going with it, and we're all in this together,
everywhere.
right? But we're in this together. Let's all bind together.
Try to like collectively put all that energy into a good place.
Yes, that is really good.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
But
So we'll see everybody next time.
yeah, definitely.
And if you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and we'll be back with a new fun subject to sit and chat.
Toxic relationships.
Ooh,
Yeah, until next time, cheers.
bye, Moon Days.
Into the cup. The 4 cups into the cup. You go in the cup. Put everything in the cup. Cups and cups and cups and cups. I want all the cups. 4 cups filled with wine. How's that? And it's telling you, you're good with your 3 cups of wine. But by the time you reach for that 4th one, you really screw yourself over. You're going to regret it in a couple of hours. In a cup. My puns are amazing. Cap? Did somebody say cap? 4 of mugs. 0 cards for the modern world. 4 of mugs. All I can think of is the 12 days of Christmas. There's 4 cups. I'm like, 5 golden. It's a spirit animal card deck. I frequently get the manatee. I don't know why. And the first time I ever used it, I was like, what the? You've done it more than once? Manatees are fat. They get what they want. They're larger in charge.
It's not elegant. It's not
They'll be like,
fierce.
yes, you are a snail.
I've always wanted to farm.
Is it farming bees? What is it? Stop. That would be keeping bees. Yeah, you're a bee person.
I was yawning.
You sucked me the finger all the way into my fucking
hate
throat.
that.
So I'm like, well, you have a good yawn.
You're my yawn.
Because then you just gotta get another one. Like, I
recreate
know.
it.
So I'm like, this yawn is It's definitely a waxing crescent. You just edit that like into the middle. Or like I was trying to do it while I was in the shower, and I'm just like playing different things and like play that one and like,
Fit
and
it
then
in where you
it's getting
can.
wet, so it's not registering my fingerprint anymore, and I'm like,
Hey, it doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
Same as when you're taking news. When you're like, it's me, I'm just trying to take this. She's like, I need a code.
She's like, I don't know. I need to know that you're like coherent right now. Give me the code.
What's she doing with that?
Here's our second video and our fourth glass of wine.
Chicken fried rice.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm really disappointed that we don't have zombies right now. You know how obsessed I am with zombies. I'm like, okay, this is up, but where are the zombies? I've been waiting.
Don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon